Recording.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Plain Township Board of Trustees meeting for Tuesday, November 24th, 2020. I would ask that everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. So before us, we have our agenda as presented. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections by fellow board members or department heads at this time?
I have none, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Ms. Harless?
I just want something under the concerns of trustees. I would like to make sure we point out that the township offices are open for business even if it's open or close to the public.
So town facilities hours in operation, okay. I'm also going to add just under concerns of trustees, salute summary and Sam Center Drive. Are there any other additions, deletions, or corrections by fellow board members or department heads at this time?
The Humane Society, I forgot about that, the drives that we're doing.
All right, no further changes. The agenda will stand as amended. And let's see here, nothing under the sheriff's report here this evening. The first items we have are under unfinished business. Ms. Campbell, I'm going to turn that over to you.
Thank you.
Trustee Hawes? I have one that it just didn't come through on I have to change number 10.
Okay.
I sent out the email on that, and then we're adding number 12.
Okay.
Hiring of firefighter, paramedic. For some reason the delay is on the machine here.
Okay. Thanks, Chuck.
Sorry.
Okay, under unfinished business, item number 1 is a resolution based on advice from council and our research understanding the coronavirus relief funding to amend resolution 20-593 to authorize the purchase and payment of 24 CR2 semi-automatic LifePak AEDs. And the additional amount is $6,293.20.
I will so move.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 2 is a resolution to amend resolution 20-596 to encumber a total of $15,950.30 from Fund 14A01V.
I will so move on unfinished business number 2.
I'll second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Thanks. That's the end of unfinished business.
And we will stay with you for new business, Ms. Campbell.
Yes, under new business, we have some yard waste citations. I'm not sure who's on the line with us.
It looks like our first one labeled as Jason James, and it appears that he's on. So Eric Haynes, do you want to provide a quick backdrop here for us?
So I believe this was a non-card holder that was allowed access by a card holder this previous weekend. And I'm sure Sergeant Conant could elaborate on that citation. Not sure if Mr. James is a resident. Believe that he indicated that he was and just hadn't purchased a card. He can elaborate on that for you all.
Yeah.
Mr. James? If you don't mind just stating your name and address for the record for our fiscal officer in the minutes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Jason James. My address is 2033 29th Street, Northeast. Canton, Ohio 44705.
Thank you.
Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Yeah, over the weekend, I did my yard. I cleaned up my yard, and I went to dump my leaves off. Well, when I pulled my truck up to the gate, there were so many cars behind me, I couldn't back up. So some guy came up and was like, "Hey, I'll let you in." So he let me in, and I dumped my leaves and I left. Well, I got a citation for that. Officer Milhorn came down to my house and gave me the citation. He basically told me to take it up with the Board of Trustees to handle the situation.
So let me, guys, I just want to clarify. I mean, per the auditor's records, I mean, he is a Plain Township resident based upon county records. So John, go ahead from there.
Jason, so I'm just curious, have you recently purchased a card then?
No, I haven't got a card. I didn't know anything about a card. Usually, the officer said that they usually send out a newsletter with all the information about the card, but I never received one or got one.
Okay, so how we usually handle this first time process is we have a hearing, which is what we're doing now, and we verify that the person who received the citation is in fact a township resident. And then once we establish that and verify that, then the next requirement before we would waive the fine would be to require you to purchase a $25 card, which by the way, will last for a year. So if you purchase it now, you will be able to utilize that for the next year. Otherwise, we follow through with the $500 fine. So to be absolutely honest, for $25, which by the way, you have already used the dump site one time already. So for the $25, you would be able to save yourself $475 in fines if you go that route. And we really have to do this to protect all those people who have already paid their $25. You can appreciate the fact that we do have a lot of overhead in maintaining that site, and we just can't waive residents that have made a mistake. We do have to require a purchase of a $25 card. So that would be the process. So I guess Eric or Lisa, what would be the easiest way for him to be able to do that? And didn't we say that somebody had been up to the office? I honestly, I don't remember who that was.
Yeah, I don't know either, but yeah, we're closed to the public. However, in this case, Jason, if you came to the office, we would give you the form to fill out. You pay either $25 cash, we need exact change, or credit card or check, and we'll give you the card.
Okay.
If you could just call the office though before you come so we can keep a lookout for you to let you in, that would be great.
Okay. Yes, I called. I actually came up there and it was closed,
Yes.
so I called in.
Okay. Yep. So give a call tomorrow if you can, or early next week, and we'll let you in and we'll take care of the card.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the sake of the record, I'm trying to think, with the other ones, we've done a verbal motion, right, John?
Correct. Yes, I think
Right.
we should do that
So
now.
whatever.
Tentative on
Pending
the
the-
purchase. Yeah, pending the purchase of the card. So
All
I
right.
guess I would make a motion to waive the fine for Jason James of 2033 29th Street Northeast, pending the purchase of a $25 yard waste card.
I will second. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
I'm having a tough time with this one. because there is signs on the fence that say you have to have a card. And if he was in a long line, then he would have seen that. And we've advertised having a card in our newsletter. We've advertised online, our website, Facebook.
But we've
And
also set precedents in some prior meetings with similar circumstances.
I know.
What we're,
Yeah, I'll go ahead and okay the motion.
okay. So Jason, just for your sake, squared away with Lisa and our township staff. Thanks for making yourself available tonight to talk through this. And clearly you've probably got a lot more exciting things going on this evening than listening in, unless you want us to stay on for the remainder of the
Because
meeting.
it might be really boring for you to sit on this meeting for a long time.
No,
feel free to.
It's fine. I really appreciate it. I made a mistake. I was actually in a rush that day, and I really didn't pay attention to much, and I was just trying to get in and out, and I really do appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay, thanks for coming on.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then do we have Stephen Nixon or Nicholas Manfred?
It's Nick's son, and yes, I'm here.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Eric, do you want to introduce us to what happened, and then we'll go from there?
Sure. I believe this is the gentleman who allowed the non-card holders into the site this weekend. He had reached out to me this weekend. The deputy had given him my contact information. Clearly knew that he had made a mistake, was very appreciative to what we're trying to accommodate. So I'll let him expand upon that.
Thank you,
Mr.
Eric.
Nixon, if
Yes, sir.
you would, just state your name and address for the record, and then go ahead and present your points
Sure.
thereafter.
Okay, thank you. My name is Steve Nixon. I live at 3365 Calora Street Northeast, Canton, Ohio 44721. I am the one that was there Saturday. I came up to drop off some leaves. There were two trucks in front of me. Jason was the one in front of me. I did not know his name at the time. There was another gentleman in front of Jason also with a truck. And I knew something was wrong because the first gentleman got out of the car and was just walking around. He walked past Jason back to my car, and so they came to me. I did not go to them, just for the record. He told me he didn't know that they needed a card to dump, and I told him it's been in the township newsletters. It was $25. It's been that way the whole season. And anyhow, that gentleman swore that he was a township resident. And as Jason said, cars were starting to get backed up behind me. There were another 2 or 3 cars behind me. In expediency and making a bad decision, he said, could I help him out? And yes, I am the one who went up and let those 2 gentlemen in. I spoke with Eric at length Saturday. I apologize. I made a bad mistake and I'm making a rash decision. I do agree that the signs are there. Although I went yesterday to drop some cardboard off in the recycling area. And honestly, that's the first time I saw the big sign, the white sign that's on the fence to the right. And I'm not making excuses. I did it. I'm wrong. I made a super bad mistake. I apologize. I'm going to carry the citation with me. So if this situation ever happens again, I can explain why I'm not going to let somebody into the dump site. But I did buy my card early in the season. I am a card holder, and I made a bad decision. And I guarantee you it won't happen again. I mean, the citation is a deterrent, but the sheriff coming to my house in this case is a way bigger deterrent for me. I don't like to be on the wrong side of the law, and the officer was very nice. I mean, he didn't harass me or anything. I like to respect authority, and you have a sheriff show up at your house. It was kind of surprising. So yes, I made the mistake. I let them in, but they came to me. I did not go up to them.
John, do you want to any comments or I think this is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I do too, obviously. Steve, we appreciate you coming on here also. And you have pretty well summed it up based on, we just wanted to make sure that you understood the guidelines and that you wouldn't do it again. And you clearly have already stated that. We didn't even have to coax you on that. I know you were being a good Samaritan, but we just have to make sure that we keep that protected as best we can, because we think it's a service to our citizens that we don't want to lose. So having said all that, I would make a motion that we waive the fine for Stephen Nixon of 3365 Kalura Northeast.
I will second it.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Okay, do we have Nicholas Manfred with us? Okay, that's the end of new business.
Am I free to go now?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Thanks, Steve.
Hey, just,
Enjoy your evening.
I will. Hey, just
Yeah.
one thing I wanted to mention. When Eric sent me the pictures and it takes a picture of the front of the car, it made me think now in Ohio, legally, you only have to have a rear tag.
Correct.
I don't know if that's something you guys, I just want to throw that out there because in the future, if somebody only has a rear tag, you wouldn't see their tag number in the front.
I do have a southbound camera on the
Okay.
east of the site. Thank you.
All right. Just want to mention
you.
that. All
Sure.
right.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You too.
Okay, that is going to conclude new business. That will take us to the fiscal officer's report. I will turn it over to Mr. Wolf.
Thank you. Fiscal Officer number 1 is a request for resolution to authorize payment of pending warrants in amount of $941,606.33.
So moved.
Second.
I think
Brooke,
second,
second.
Brooke, I heard first. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo.
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 2 is a request for resolution to authorize payment of regular payroll in amount not to exceed $250,000.
I will
So moved.
Second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo.
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 3 is a request for resolution to authorize payment for the following medical claims.
So
I will
moved.
move on fiscal officer number 3.
Second, discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo.
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 4 is the bank reconciliation for October.
Okay. Anybody's got any questions, feel free to see Tom afterwards.
Fiscal Officer number 5 is the investment report.
Hey, Tom, just a quick question. I know you're always taking a lot of continuous ed to keep the township in the best financially positioned way. And there was something, I don't know if it was this past weekend on, the impact of COVID and so forth. Any type of insights from that were new that we should all just be aware to as it affects the strategy for moving forward with investing?
Yeah, actually, I just got a certification so that we can invest in municipal bonds. Normally, municipal bonds are kind of irrelevant, but with the way the federal treasury yields are inverted, there's some municipal bonds that are higher now. So with that certification, we'll be able to allocate a portion of the portfolio over there so we can get a higher interest yield, because right now our weighted average is only 1.13%. Because a lot of the treasuries and things that we invested in earlier have all come due and they're being reinvested at lower rates. So hopefully that'll help a little bit, but it's still, the interest rates are low and I don't see them increasing anytime soon.
Even if it gets us a extra basis points. Keep that cash working for us.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And fiscal officer number 6 is a request for resolution to authorize the following transfers.
I will so move.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo.
Yes.
Fiscal officer number 7 is a request for resolution to authorize a refund as follows for overpayments for EMS as requested by Ohio Billing.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo.
Yes.
Fiscal officer number 8 is a request for resolution to authorize the following transfers of expenses to the Coronavirus Relief Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
and that concludes the fiscal officer report.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. That is going to take us to the administrator, Ms. Campbell.
Thank you. Item number 1 is a resolution to authorize membership into Clout for the 2021 year and authorize payment for $200.
I will so move.
I'll second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 2 is a resolution to approve payment to Canton Data Print for the printing and postage of the 2020 Plain Township Winter Newsletter.
I will move on administrator number 2.
I will second it.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
And that's the end of the administrator report.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. It's going to take us to the fire department. Chief Schallenberger.
Thank you. Item number 1 is a resolution to authorize a transfer into the capital equipment, fire truck and related equipment fund 21F as follows.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 2 is also a transfer of a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees authorize the transfer in the capital project fire building repairs 21K as follows.
I will so move.
I'll second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Item number 3 is a resolution to transfer the capital equipment, fire ladder, truck, and related equipment in 21N as follows.
I will move on fire department number 3.
I'll second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Item number 4 is a transfer to capital project land and building and construction 21O as listed as follows.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 5 is a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees to authorize reimbursement to Michael Hill, the amount of $320 according to collective bargaining unit membership 37.
So moved.
I'll second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Item number 6 is a resolution to accept the resignation of Drew DeSimone per attached letter as a Plain Township career firefighter effective December 4th at $700.
I will move on fire department number 6.
Second, discussion, just for pure comment. Hate to see Drew go, but it's a career growth opportunity for him. So appreciate his service to Plain while he was here. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
And item number 7 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees to extend the offer of employment for the position of part-time probationary firefighter EMT basic or EMT firefighter paramedic to the following people. Wages would be established by resolution 20-289.
I will move on fire department number 7.
I will
Second, or I think Brooks got a second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Thank you. And number 8 is a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees to authorize purchase and payment to MES Warren Fire for their annual bench testing of SCBA's and RIP packs not to exceed $2,300.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Thank you. Number 9 is a resolution by Plain Township Board of Trustees to approve the purchase and payment of one 2020 Ford 550 4x4 chassis to Crossroads Ambulance not to exceed $58,707.
I
So
will
moved.
move. Go ahead, Brooke.
Sorry, so move. I'll make the
Second.
move it. Sorry.
Discussion.
Words are tongue.
Roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Number 10 is the one I emailed the changes. I'll read it as the corrected version due to some of the coronavirus changes we received today. I have a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees to authorize purchase and payment of one remount ambulance box with clean tech areas and UV lighting and labor to MedWorks DBA Crossroads Ambulance not to exceed $122,1200.
I will so move.
Second. That was $212, wasn't it, Chuck?
I'm sorry, yeah, $122,212.
Yeah. I'll second that.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Item number 11 is a resolution for a board up at the structure of 2510 31st Street Northeast in Plain Township as it's presented an unsafe or hazardous condition.
I will so move.
I'll second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
And then item number 12, I also emailed out. I have a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees to promote Kyle Johnson from part-time status to full-time status of firefighter paramedic class 1 pending satisfactory completion of his Ohio Police and Fire pension, physical, and drug testing.
I will move on fire department number 12.
I will second it.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
And sorry for the length, but that does conclude the fire department business.
Thanks, Chuck. You've been covering a lot of ground here the last couple months.
We've been busy.
In more ways than one, too. Okay, that concludes fire. That's going to take us to the road department. And Lisa, are you handling it?
Yep, I'm handling this. Yep, there's just one resolution this evening to authorize service and payment to Buck Hill Fabricating for repair work to the debris tank on the Vector truck, not to exceed $10,750 from 11A06 repairs and maintenance.
I will so move.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless.
Yes.
And that's the end of the road report.
We have nothing under zoning, parks, law director, communications.
Is Mr. Dan Nabal with us?
Well, I'm bringing that up under public speak, under.
Oh, I'm
public
sorry. Yes.
Public speaks. This is where individuals can address the board specific to any township issues or concerns. That being said, is Dan Nabal joining us on this call?
Now, I do want to say I did email the Zoom link.
And what even though he's not on, this is for the sake of the record. This is a private party matter. This is something that the township is not a part of. Mr. Nabal has been informed through the site visit that I made with him and Andrew from Stark Soil and Water that the off-road drainage issue is something that gets handled through Soil and Water. He's clearly been provided the instructions to where he either needs to pursue civil litigation against the adjoining parcel owner that is hauling in fill, or find a way to come to some type of agreement with the property owner. I know from the conversation Andrew and I had with him a couple weeks back, actually while it was raining, ODOT is not going to do anything. The county is not. There's actually been a little bit of prior upgrade work done there specific to the drainage pipe, but the reality is roof lines, driveways, and roadways, all that impermeable surface, the water's got to go somewhere. Is it unfortunate what he's dealing with? I absolutely would agree, but continuing to try to get somebody else to do something instead of pursuing the clear avenues that he has had presented to him that should be the first primary means of pursuit, he needs to exhaust. And I just want that noted on the record. The email that come through, I think it was the tail end of last week, maybe the beginning of this week, where he was referencing Angela Kavanaugh with the building department. The reality is the county building department has zero influence, oversight, or control on this matter. So that's all specific to this, for the record.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that there's been a lot of time spent on this as well. I think in all fairness, everybody that you named has taken an effort to go out, look at it, evaluate it. Everybody from ODOT to the county engineer to Soil and Water to Plain Township. And we have all come to the same conclusion and have also given that homeowner, I think you pronounce that, do you pronounce that Nabal?
That's how
Nabal, yeah. They've explained that whole process to Mr. Nabal. So to be honest with you, I'm not even sure if he would have come tonight, what he was even going to ask or request that he hasn't already been given both the answers and the information on.
Well, I think from the prior email exchange, it was I want to make this a matter of and I had told him, again, we've had the conversations. He knows where he needs to go.
Sure.
I mean, outside of having his due right to speak in front of the board and make it noted as part of the record, there's absolutely nothing, we can do. And the reality is, even if the township had some tie-in at some point to upgrade storm sewer systems, even with as solid as our road department is from levies based upon our normal operating costs, there is absolutely no way the township has the funds to even begin to facilitate a complete storm sewer upgrade project. I mean, that's one of those ones where it requires significant probably federal, state dollars and state dollars to come in to even begin to entertain it. And that will take years based upon those timetables. Okay, that should wrap up that item, our public speaks. Is there anybody else on the line that wishes to address the Board of Trustees regarding any township-specific business matters? Okay. I see that there's a line on here showing for a Joshua Clay. Brooke, that's your person,
I
right?
believe that is
Okay.
the Boy Scout earning his merit badge. Is that correct?
Say yes. Oh, yeah. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very confused.
It's okay. I totally understand. It's a lot to take in, and it's a lot of verbiage that most people don't know firsthand and right away when they listen to one of the meetings. It takes a while. In fact, I'm still learning it as well.
Hey, Joshua, just for a backdrop, honestly, what you're seeing and experiencing here tonight, there's a lot that really goes into these meetings. There's a lot of conversation before, because if we were to wait until a meeting to get all of the information presented to us, these meetings would be going well after midnight. So ultimately, our department heads make sure the Board of Trustees are informed with all the details ahead of time. That also affords us the opportunity to ask questions. And really, because we are doing the public's business at the end of the day, it has to be done in a public venue and during COVID times via Zoom. But that's why we come to make these decisions here, because Ohio sunshine laws do not permit us to make decisions outside of the public light unless there's certain discussion, and even then it still can't be a decision until we're back in public. So there's a lot of things from the township aspect that we're responsible for. Your safety services, fire, police, EMS, our roads, so paving, plowing, some drainage related issues, zoning. You'll get into nuisance property. So say your family takes exceptionally good care of your property, but your neighbor lets, high grass and trash and debris. That's what we consider nuisance. We also provide the 3 parks in the township, in the programming, in general administration. So
Basically, we're the ones that keep you from going to school if we don't get your roads done and during snow days. Or if you have to go to school, that's because of us. Because we clean your roads fast.
All right. That's good.
Okay.
All right.
Do you have any questions or comments? You want?
Not for now.
Okay. Perfect. Well, we appreciate you attending this evening. These things aren't definitely super exciting, but it's a necessity. It's a necessary function of the services we deliver to all of the residents across the township. So thanks again.
And if you have any questions, your mom can text me or email me any of the questions, okay? If you think of any afterwards.
All right. And thank you for having me.
Oh, no
Okay,
problem.
thanks, Josh.
Go ahead and email the form and I'll fill it out for you, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Is there anybody else that wishes to address the Board of Trustees? It doesn't appear we have anybody else. Okay, that'll conclude public speaks. It's going to take us to concerns of trustees. Brooke, do you want to just go ahead first? I think you and I back and forth early on at the beginning. So
Yeah, we have a few things. I had noticed that the article in the paper regarding us closing our offices to the public kind of didn't, it wasn't very specific on the fact that we are still open for business to our township residents via email, via phone calls, whatever the aspect on that front is, they just can't come to the offices. So I just want to make sure that they are well aware of that, because I actually had two people that asked me, and one actually came to the door yesterday while I was there trying to come in because they weren't clear on if we were open or not, and they were trying to get a permit. So I just wanted to make sure that we get that word out there that we are still open for business. The public can't come to the offices.
Yeah, and it is important. That's a good point, that also they can apply for those permits online. So we'll emphasize that as well.
Okay. Then, did you have anything else, Brooke, or what was the scout the second? I think you
Oh,
had.
no.
She
the
has
other
Humane
was
Society.
Humane
Yeah, that's
Society.
it.
We have collaborated, Denise Evans with Cutler, the realtor, and she runs the Plain Township community page. Her and I are both Rotarians for the Rotary Club of Plain Township, and we discussed using or having some kind of fundraiser for the Humane Society for the month of November and December. So we are actually collaborating, and we wanted to let everybody know that if they have any extra sheets, towels, old comforters, dog leashes, dog food, cat food, anything that they don't need anymore. We have a box set up at the Township Hall at 2600 Easton Street Northeast that they can go ahead and drop off. If they are unable to leave their house due to COVID or their health or aren't able to drive, let me know. My son or myself can pick up the items so we can get that to the Humane Society. Their upkeep of the shelters are actually a little bit low right now because there's been such an increase of drop-off of animals due to unemployed residents or due to COVID patients. So we want to make sure our shelter animals are taken care of. If they want to look at a list, they can go to get a full list at starkhumane.org.
Okay. As far as, does that cover your basis for you, Brooke?
Yes, thank you, Scott.
All right. Let's see here. So the items that I had, the first one, I just wanted on the salute to veterans, a special shout out to the entire team, everybody that's on here, behind the scenes, the public, given the COVID restrictions and the need for us to get creative. I think it's pretty impressive. I've just got some salute stats that had pulled together while talking through with Rob that I want to reference. 275 meals served to veterans and their families. We had a highly attended ribbon cutting for the Battlefield Cross and the Granite Peace and Eagle. Successful drive-through allowing a lot of interpersonal interaction from a safe distance. We had 3 World War II veterans attend as well. We had Secretary of State Frank LaRose and a couple members of his staff join us. The event was completely covered through sponsorship. We had a nice, beautiful hillside view through the help of our friend Steve Toohey with Operation Flags of Freedom. We had volunteerism from Parks, Fire, Road, and all 4 elected officials, admin, and IT. And the video that dropped at 7 a.m. that morning was also made available on thumb drives in a number of the bags. And I think we had received some positive messages back on those, lots of thank yous. And just summing it up, the 6th annual, different format, but we almost served as many as we typically do with an in-person event. Looking forward to hopefully a more normal one in 2021. Separate of the salute update, right now Township Hall, one of the other community drive efforts that we have going on is the SAM Center, the Serving Area Military Veterans and Family. We're through December 5th doing a drive where soliciting toys for children 6 to 16 with a value between $5 and $20. We would ask anybody in the public that wishes to make those donations. We do have a box that we've been sitting outside of the door in this quarantine operation. For some reason, should you show up at Township Hall to make a donation, and the boxes for the Humane Society or the Sam Center aren't out, just call in so our staff can set that box out and get those donations. That was the last thing I had. John, did you have anything, or are you still good?
No, I'm still good.
Okay. That concludes concerns of trustees. Concerns of the fiscal officer. Tom Wolf, anything? I think you're muted, bud.
Yeah, I just wanted to do a quick thank you to Lisa. We finished up all the business grant applications, and she went above and beyond as the point person for the township and followed up with everyone, kept everything organized, made life a little easier for us on the finance side. And even the few people that weren't exactly cooperative, she was able to follow up with them and get everyone handled. And I know all the businesses I heard back were very grateful for kind of the guidance she offered in helping them organize spreadsheets and get the receipts and all of that. So I just wanted to thank her for all of her help.
Well, I think equally, I would resonate the same messages or words and thoughts, but for Luther on your staff, Tom, I know Lisa spoke highly of the work that Luther was putting in it as well. So, team effort, but appreciate the two of them really helping spearhead it for the betterment of our community.
Definitely. Yeah. I think, like I said, I think every business that we were able to help definitely appreciated it.
Anything else?
All.
Okay. Thank you. That'll conclude concerns of the fiscal officer. It will take us to the approval of the minutes for November 10th, 2020, and I will so move.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.
The next calls for the approval of the special meeting minutes for November 17th, 2020, and I will so move on those as well.
I will second it.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless.
Yes.
Okay, appears there's no other business before us this evening. So in that spirit, I will make a motion to adjourn from this regular meeting at 6:47 p.m.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes,
Yes.
Mr. Sabo,
Yes.
Mrs. Harless,
Yes.